guys doing? Fantastic, man. Thank you for coming out. I hope that everybody knows that this is a show about climate change. How many people knew that? Yeah? By applause, how many people? Oh, and the rest of them are like, what the fuck? But no, here's the thing. Here's how this show came about. Quite frankly, we're working with University of Colorado and a organization called Inside the Greenhouse. And what we're trying to prove is that you can talk about a global existential threat in a fun way. You know, just because we're all gonna fucking die doesn't mean we can't enjoy the fact that we're gonna die. Okay, and that's really what this is about. And the real reason that we're doing this is Yale and George Mason University put together a study that said the number one way that we can combat climate change would be to talk about it. Okay, and the way we talk about it is we get it to filter into the zeitgeist. And once we do that, when people start talking about it, it goes from being 15th on the list of people's concerns to maybe 14th. So I'm glad that you nerds are here. For the nerds that are here, that's fine. For the rest of you Trump-loving fuckers, okay, I'm not getting political. I'm just not, that's not what this is about, okay? Because much like climate, Trump is not a problem, okay? He's not the actual cause. Like, people don't understand that climate and weather are two different things. Like, weather is a symptom of climate change, just like Trump is a symptom that America's kind of fucked up, okay? Woo, just a little bit of laughter there. The fact is that, you know, this is a very serious subject, but it's not at the same time. It's life, okay? Life is serious, but life is fun. Just give you a little example. I was out on 3rd Avenue, and I saw a homeless dude with a skateboard, okay? Right. You skateboard.
No, we saw him.
Oh, you saw that dude? See? I gave him $5, and I gave him $5, and I was just like, thanks for being carbon negative. That, you know? You don't even know it. You don't even know it. That's a money-making thing you got going on right there. But I gotta be honest, speaking of skateboards, the other day, because it is New York, I saw like a grown man in a suit on a skateboard with a briefcase. And I thought to myself, is that an eco-conscious climate warrior or just some dude with 12 DUIs? It's very cool that you guys are here. You know, this is a science-oriented show. I hope that you like science. I'm a person of science. It's my passion. I have to say that it's difficult to talk about science, especially when it's science that tells you what to do. A lot of times science informs people and they don't want to listen, and I understand because you don't understand what's behind the science. As a person of science, I fall prey to this myself. You know, I drive my car and I use Google Maps, and while I am using Google Maps, I understand there are 31 satellites in mid-Earth orbit telling me where to go in real time as they observe the traffic. But that woman will come on the speaker and say, at the corner, make a right. And I'm like, nah, bitch, Clearly, you don't live in this neighborhood. This is the way home. Okay. What we did was we worked with future climate scientists, and the comedians worked with the future climate scientists and wrote material just for tonight. So everything that you're going to see is original comedy material that was created about climate just for tonight.
Welcome. My name is Beth Osnes. I'm a professor of theater and environmental studies here at the University of Colorado in Boulder.
And I'm Max Boykoff. I'm also a professor here at the University of Colorado Boulder in the Environmental Studies Department. And I'm also a fellow in the Cooperative Institute for Research in Environmental Sciences, or CERES. So Beth and I have been working on this comedy initiative for several years, but it's within a larger project that we call Inside the Greenhouse with two other co-directors. They are Becca Safran, who's a professor in ecology and evolutionary biology, and Phaedra Pezzullo, who's a professor in the Department of Communication.
So why climate comedy? Well, we feel like we don't want our students to just be studying this new way of communicating climate. We want them to be actually supporting professional comedians in creating climate comedy and trying to create it themselves.
You weren't expecting me to be so adorable. I get the fact that you're realizing you're about to watch a John Oliver style piece from somebody that looks like the cloning process went horribly awry. You find John Oliver sexy, right? But we are going to focus on the solution for now, not the problem.
That's right.
Because we all know what that is, right? Cool. We all know about as much as we know that we're all going to cry at the next Black Panther movie.
Okay, maybe not.
Oh, no Bozeman fans here? Fucking racists.
All right, that was fun.
Is it because I look like I invented racism?
These are called ad-libs.
Reducing these waste vegetables can drastically cut our greenhouse gas emissions, our carbon footprints, but honestly, it's not that hard. You can store the food or move the food more quickly so it doesn't go bad, or process it by blending it. Blending two delicious things together, also known as Beyonce. You can also contact your local congressperson, unless it's one of these two. That was a good response.
Thank you. My name's Kasha Patel. It is a foreign name. Thank you. I always think foreign names always have the prettiest meanings. Like my mom's name is Shoba, which literally means beauty. My brother's name is Kavi, which means poet. I found out that my name, Kasha, also has a meaning. It is a type of buckwheat. My ex-boyfriend actually found that out and had to break up with me. He was gluten-free. Someone actually came up to me after a show and they said, you know, Kasha is already gluten-free. I was like, nerd! Am I right? Also, that breakup was way worse than I thought it was. Man, this is crazy. A science comedy show? So many people here. Clap it up. Who's a nerd in here? Clap it up if you're a nerd. I like how not everybody clapped. Like, you're on Thursday night at a science comedy show, and some of you are like, no, I was an athlete. I played Quidditch. It's very real. It's very real. I could tell I was a nerd growing up because I never had to say no to drugs. Because I was never offered any. I actually used to call my iPhone charger mitochondria because it was the powerhouse of my cell. Thank you. I did study chemistry. Where my chemists at? Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. I always love being another chemist because there's always an immediate bond. Thank you. Some people don't like chemistry wordplay, and I call those people physicists. So, do we have any physicists here? That's right. Not after that insult. I'm very excited to be on this show because I think my comedy career is a lot like climate change. It's pretty unbelievable, even though there's evidence of it occurring all around us. It's kind of sad because some people think they're giving up on Earth, right? They think that we need to find life on a new planet and that things are going to be better and that they're going to become a new person if they do that. I'm like, you can't even bother to learn Spanish. I know it's very difficult for humans to change and learn new things. Like, take the pandemic, for instance. What did we do during the pandemic? We just created a lot more reality TV dating shows. Did you know STDs actually went up during pandemic? Are you guys all together? One out of 3 people has an STD, so that could be a fun conversation for you later. Yeah, 64% of our tropical forests have actually been lost since the pre-industrial time, which is extremely shocking. But it's hard to stop deforestation because it's so embedded in our society. We rely on it for so many things. I tried doing my part. I found out that beef is the #1 reason for deforestation. So I decided to switch to soy, which I found out is the #2 reason for deforestation. So then I just went to the grocery store and just bought a bunch of random stuff like pizza and chocolate. Turns out that has palm oil, which I found out is the #3 reason for deforestation. So now I just eat grass in my backyard, but I ran out of grass, so I ordered some, and turns out that comes from the forest, which I found out that willful ignorance of Americans is the #4 reason for deforestation. Not all forests are screwed. There are some tropical forests. There's actually forests on agricultural land in the Americas and West Africa that in the past 20 years has actually come back by 80%, which is incredible. Yeah. Those tropical forests are like my unmarried friends. They were decreasing for a while, but now they're finally coming back. Yeah. One thing that people don't know about the Amazon rainforest is that it actually controls a lot of our weather because there's so much water within those trees and it regulates the water cycle. We can actually control weather as far as Texas. So if we remove trees, you can actually put a drought in Texas, and if you have a lot of dry years, that becomes part of the climate. And I know it's very confusing when you talk about weather and climate. It's very difficult to figure out what the difference is. The other day, my boyfriend said that I was like the weather because I vary every day and I'm hard to predict. I said, he's like the climate because he's getting worse every day. All right, thank you very much. I'm Kasha Patel. Have a good night.
So among the things that we do in this experimental space is we actually also research what works, how, when, why, and under what circumstances. And we're happy that we got some traction through that research, and it ended up in this most recent 3rd working group report of the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change that focuses in on mitigation and also policy action. So we're pleased that we're able to find common ground and actually have some of our work amplified through that important report.
And what we find through this research is that our students, like 56% of the news that they're getting on relevant issues like climate change is coming from comedic sources. We also find that through, involvement in creating climate comedy, that they're able to process negative emotions around the issue of climate change, and they're also able to sustain hope and stay engaged.
Hopefully this is a good executive summary for y'all. This is the wrap up. Make some noise for every performer that was on this stage tonight. I had a blast. All right, here we go. It's the wrap up. It goes like this. Yo, it's Chuck Nice Comedy. So welcome to the Climate Show, ice cold, where you can find any kind of joke. It's my kind of show. Veggie porn here is right at home. End of the world and big laughs. That's the highs and lows. Chuck Nice Comedy, yeah. Welcome to the Climate Show, ice cold, where you can find any kind of joke. Should I bite that sexual carrot? Yikes, I don't know. Maybe I should lick it instead, like a Tootsie Roll. Yo, gross, but can't you even tell that by looking at me? Anything for climate change, I'm making all the people happy, but I'm normally dirty, grimy, and really nasty. That's why Kasha Patel put a mask on the mic after me. I was like, fuck me. I mean, the metaphorical opposite. Come clean, yassa. Make some noise. Kasha consistently rocked it. She was trying to figure out how to go vegan and never touch beef. She's becoming green just like her name. It means buckwheat. Which is what Kasha eats now that everything's off the menu. The rainforest dies every time you eat bone and sinew. So find a vegan meal for the flavor and make it righteous. Just try not to advocate for it in a way that sounds like whiteness. That's when a vegetarian becomes the target of Kyle Marion. Just another tragically gentrified area. It's not about the vegan dick and whether you can keep it up. You're just a tasty snack to Kyle, unless your name is Elon Musk. But yo, it's Chuck Nice Comedy. Welcome to the Climate Show, ice cold, where you can find any kind of joke. My kind of show. Veggie porn here is right at home. End of the world and big laughs. That's the highs and lows. Chuck Nice Comedy. Welcome to the Climate Show, ice cold, where you can find any kind of joke. Should I bite that sexual carrot? Yikes, I don't know. Maybe I should lick it instead, just like a Tootsie Roll. Goddamn, I got the jam bouncing, rapping and freestyling, but don't you dare cheer for nuclear in front of Nat Townsend. Who did that? Who cares if it's carbon neutral? The waste is kind of scary and there's no mountain high enough and no tunnel deep enough to bury it. No, that's more into the concentrated solar geniuses. That's what we need. Some massive warm Stonehenge penises. Feel that warm sunlight. You love that sun, baby. That is the natural cure for what ails you. It's SAD. That's crazy. Put it on the slides of Daniel Laitman and cry at the next Black Panther movie if you're not racist. That carrot with the spread legs is up here again, y'all. Is there a little dick? I thought that shit was genderless, like a Ken doll. But still kind of sexy, yeah. I want to juice it. You gotta laugh about the climate, y'all, or we're gonna lose it. So call your congressperson and tell them you want to go green, unless her name is Lauren Boebert or Marjorie Taylor Greene. Yo, make some noise for every act up in here. And make some noise for my retrofit insulation premiere. Nobody sang along with my chorus. There was not one single open mouth. Thank God for the heckler who explained it's because nobody owns a frickin' house. Make some noise for Chuck Nice in every act. I'm Baba Brinkman. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night.
So over the last decade or so that we've been working on Inside the Greenhouse initiatives, and then in the last 7 years on this comedy experimentation, we've had many great supporters and partners and collaborators. This year in particular, the Argosy Foundation has partnered with us so that we can bring our comedy coast to coast.
My name is Scott Wiener, and I just wanted to tell you a real quick thank you for being here. It means the world to us. This is the 7th annual Comedy for Climate Change night, and I would like to start with an apology. It was made clear to me just earlier today. Our show should really be called Comedy Against Climate Change. We're all against climate change here tonight. I hope you are too. If anyone that's here for the Comedy for Climate Change, that show would be 5 blocks that way. We're on 3rd Street, so just head to the ocean. When you get there, just keep walking. The ocean is rising, so the party should be getting closer to you. This year my topic is health and education, so get ready to laugh, because those are two real funny words.
40% of the food that's made never gets eaten, and a huge part of that is because the food is unattractive. It's labeled too unattractive for the grocery store. You can't put it out. It's like slightly wilted, or it's like picture an orchard, and there's just thousands and thousands of apples just rotting on the ground now that were totally edible, but because they weren't completely circular, or because they were not red all the way around, they just get disposed of, okay? Like the flicker of something being wrong with it, and it immediately goes in the garbage, kind of like how J-Lo dates men. Do you know what I mean? The flicker of something, they are disposable, goodbye. Now, I will say she is helping the planet by dating Ben Affleck again, because it does show that she can recycle. So that's good. Okay? Yeah. Things I think we can immediately get rid of to help with the food waste problem. Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Go fuck yourself. That's disgusting. Okay? It's just people like eating, and then like they dip it in water with the buns, and then they swallow. And you're like, what is happening? You would think that a half-ton man named Bubba was the one who was going to win this. And it never is. It's the opposite. But if I wanted to watch 100-pound chicks take meat to the face without a gag reflex and hopes for a big payout, I would just go back to college. Okay?
My topic is public transportation. Oh, yeah. And as a guy who doesn't take public transportation in LA, I'm here to tell you, you should take public transportation. So it doesn't make much sense, though. Because it's so easy to drive cars, you know? In this city, it's just easy. And if anything's easy, it's probably just not good for the environment. Like, look at the sky here in LA, you know, the smog. It's like the sky's like a majestic sienna, burnt sienna, with a shit brown lining at the bottom. In the year 1900, there were 8,000 cars on the road. And in the year 1920, there were 8 million cars on the road. It's a big leap in 20 years. In the year 2000, there were 220 million cars on the road. And in the year 2040, we're all gonna be dead because we didn't take public transportation.
Have any of you guys ever been to Cafe Gratitude? Okay, you all sound excited about it. Same. So for those of you that don't know, Cafe Gratitude is an all-vegan restaurant here in the city of Los Angeles. And as those of you who have gone probably know, you have to order your food, like the names of the dishes are like aspirational qualities. So like a cauliflower steak is like, I am confident. And like a vegan tortilla is like, I am enchanted, you know? And I just feel like I would be more willing to buy into that lifestyle if it was a little bit truer to who I am, you know? Like instead of my, you know, chopped salad that I'm paying $27 for being called like I'm everything, I would like to order it as like I'm hungover or I am passive aggressive. Something that just reflects me a little bit more. Okay? Also, it turns out that the reason that a vegan diet reduces your carbon footprint so much is because all this methane that comes from cows, like cow farts. But if any of you have ever tried a vegan diet, kind of feels like they're just passing the buck, you know what I mean? Like you're just walking around like crop testing for our children's future. I mean, not our children's future, I don't have kids because I care about the environment. And I just kind of feel like there's this like stereotype that people who are vegan, you know, just subsist on a diet of like kale and activated charcoal and feeling superior to others. And like, I think that more people would be open to this lifestyle if they could just like be reassured that like you can totally be a vegan and still be a piece of shit. Do you know what's vegan? Cocaine. You can be on an entirely vegan diet of like Oreos and cigarettes. Adderall and Mountain Dew. Just imagine being like, I haven't slept in a week for the planet. Also, and again, like I just feel like there's a lot of like, there needs to be more transparency. Like for example, vegan cheese. Do you know what cheese is? Cheese I looked at the definition because I'm a scholar, and cheese is, okay, this isn't the exact wording, but paraphrase, it's made from milk curds from cows. Does anyone want to tell vegans what cows make? You know? Like you cannot just smash a bunch of cashews together and tell me that that's cheese. That's like offering to introduce me to Brad Pitt and then bringing me to a wax figure of Gary Busey. That doesn't even resemble what I thought I was getting, nor is it made of the same material.
When Colorado's Governor Jared Polis issued a proclamation encouraging people to avoid eating meat on March 20th of last year, Nebraska's governor called it a direct attack on our way of life. And it's crazy that they will not stop eating meat for one day. But to be fair, I think this is a failure of marketing. You shouldn't call it a don't eat meat day. You should call it an eat as many Oreos as you want day. Speaking of Colorado, when a false rumor circulated last year that Joe Biden was going to limit America's meat consumption, Representative Lauren Boebert replied that he should stay out of her kitchen. Now, Lauren Boebert's restaurant famously gave dozens of Coloradans explosive diarrhea several times, so telling somebody to stay out of her kitchen is probably the nicest thing she could do for somebody. And given the amount of meat she's telling us to eat, you should probably also stay out of her bathroom. Give it 10 to 15 at least. No matter how ethical and sustainable these companies claim to be, the bottom line is they're just not. The only way for us to push back against this damaging and inefficient system is to eat way, way less meat. And obviously there's a ton of non-meat options, but if you're one of those people who insist on having meat with every meal, you can. Because companies are making fast innovations in cultured meat, which isn't just beef that loves Frasier. Cultured meat is grown in a lab from actual meat stem cells, which means that it's real meat, it's just not attached to an animal. And by the way, if you're eating meat that's attached to an animal now, please don't. They don't like it when you do that.
Did you know that one of the worst things for the environment right now, one of the greatest threats ever, is people? A lot of people find that surprising. I find it comforting. The list of people that I know is so much larger than the list of people that I like. And I find, you just can't express that without being rude. You can't just look at your phone, pick a contact, and say, hey, Doug, long time no talk. Listen, I really wish you didn't exist. Hey, Mike, I know we haven't seen each other in a while, but I was just thinking, do you ever wish your parents had better access to birth control? Because I do. Or, hey, Reggie, do you ever wish the classier of your parents would have been a little more discerning? Those are all very hurtful things to say, unless you're talking about the environment. And you can say, no, I just mean because I'm worried about the environment. There's too many of us, and I just wish you weren't here. Here's another interesting fact. Half of consumption-based emissions are created by only 10% of the population. 10%, half the emissions created by 10%. And we all know who we're talking about. What 10% are we talking about? We're talking about rich people, right? I think there should be a law that it's okay to grab a rich person, shove him into a cannon, and blast him up into the sky. I would say blast him into space, but they're already doing that, aren't they? And you know what? Even if we could do that, blast him into space, that wouldn't be a good idea because that would create more emissions. But I think if we just blast them into the sky 200 to 300 feet, that would stop them from doing whatever they're doing to create all these emissions on their, on their jet skis or, I don't know, whatever they're doing to create these emissions. I'm basing this on, when I think of emissions, I think of people on jet skis. I've never been on a jet ski. I like jet skis. When I see someone else on a jet ski, I assume that they're very wealthy, and when they're not on that jet ski, that they're doing other things to create emissions. I want to make something clear about tonight. Our job is just to raise awareness and to get you thinking. So, even if you guys all leave and say yeah, the show was fine, that guy at the end that talked about jet skis and the environment really obviously didn't know anything about jet skis or the environment. Even if you say that, mission accomplished. I just want to get you talking about things.
Our next show, which is in the belly of the beast, our nation's capital, also known as Washington, D.C. Enjoy.
Oh, I think we can do better than that. I said, are you ready to get the show started?
But the very first show I was ever on, right after grad school, was a show on the Food Network. And anyone here ever watch a show called Food Detectives? Exactly, that's why it was canceled. It was hosted by Ted Allen, the guy who hosts Chopped. Yeah, so he had 2 shows going at once, and Chopped became his successful show. And I was on the other one. It was basically like Mythbusters about food science. Yeah, it's a cool concept. We weren't allowed to say myth or busters because those assholes had a contract, but we could do it. So like, at some point I feel like this is my big reward. I spent 7 years getting a PhD in molecular biology, so that for a time I was considered the nation's foremost expert on the 5-second rule of dropping food on the floor. I am not making this up. The producer, this guy Danny, I told him that they had to buy an incubator to grow bacteria for an experiment. I think we were comparing the cleanliness of wooden versus plastic cutting boards. And he emails me the specs for this incubator, and he calls me up and he says, "What do you think? Take a look." I looked at it and I said, "Yep, that's fine. That'll work. Go ahead and buy that." And he said, "Great, because the guy who's selling it to me says it's a really good incubator. He says it can hold temperature in Fahrenheit and Celsius." Yeah, thank you for understanding what's wrong with that. Because no one at the Food Network did. I should have told him, "Nope, send it back. I need one that can do kelvins." And you know how many people at the Food Network would have understood what a Kelvin is? Absolutely zero. Oh, physics joke. Oh my God, I like you guys. Anyway, before I go, there's one other thing that I thought I would do tonight, because tonight is sort of it's a different kind of show. There's going to be stand-up comedians, and there's going to be people doing other types of performance art. And so there's something that I wrote during the pandemic. I thought perhaps I would read this. This is for all of those of you who've been in graduate school, especially grad school in the sciences. It is a wonderful story that is contemporary with what's going on in the world right now, i.e. it is Christmas. Let's all just pretend it's Christmas. I wrote this at Christmas. So, ladies and gentlemen, how Dean Grinch stole grad student stipends. All grad students on campus liked stipends a lot, but Dean Grinch, who stayed up in his office, did not. Dean Grinch hated stipends, a waste of good income, all possible miserly thoughts, he would think 'em. It could be that he was too eager to please the ignorant, tight-fisted board of trustees. It could be he thought of tuition as pay, or it could be that old excuse, back in my day. Whatever the reason, his greed or his prudence, he sat in his office chair hating the students, staring down on the scholars who scurried like ants to their labs all aglow as they worked on their grants. For he knew every student, the best and the worst, was happily flaunting the cash he dispersed. "They're off buying groceries," Dean Grinch started grousing. "They're spending on health care. They're paying for housing." Then he growled with his Dean fingers frantically typing, "I must find some way to keep stipends from stiping." For tomorrow, while singing a sweet stipend carol, they'd all get their checks from the Office of Payroll. Then the graduate students would all start to spend, and they'd spend, and they'd spend, and they'd spend. They'd spend all the wealth of their kingly existence when they ought to be living on public assistance. And then they'd do something he took in bad faith. Each graduate student, first year through the 8th, would pause for a moment, stand still on the earth, and all feel a moderate sense of self-worth. They'd be pleased, oh so pleased. And the more Dean Grinch thought of this sense of contentment, the more his heart filled with a bitter resentment. Why, I've kept their stipends the worst in the nation. I've stopped all accounting for yearly inflation, changed subjects whenever the students discussed rent. I've fought every cost of living adjustment. Then Dean Grinch got an idea, an awful idea, a wonderful, maybe unlawful idea. "I know just what to do," said he, posed on his perch. "We'll swap out their stipends for school-branded merch. We'll tax their tuition, invoice for degrees. We'll charge inexplicable library fees. With all these deductions, with every free trinket, they'll never suspect what we've done. They won't think it." Dean Grinch started listing how stipends would slim. "Let's start with a new fee for using the gym. Then maybe a charge for tuition earmarking, a few $100s for on-campus parking. Dean Grinch got excited with each random rule to keep stipends flowing right back to the school. A cost for IT and custodial crews and some kind of unexplained membership dues. Make basic health services no longer gratis. Exorbitant rates for non-resident status. He laughed as he added more charges and more. Why, I don't even know what this last one is for. Then he put down his pen with a snort and a huff and loaded a duffel piled high with free stuff. Dean Grinch strode onto campus lugging his bag, distributing handfuls of pre-printed swag. Look, students, he cried as he walked at his own pace. A thingy that sticks to the back of your phone case. A tumbler, a sweatshirt, a fob we'll emboss. Free seats no one wants at a game called lacrosse. And none of these tchotchkes will cost you a cent, for now you can see, based on how much we've spent, that no matter your troubles, school spirit shines through, and the folks at the top really care about you. As Dean Grinch crept away, as he tiptoed and hushed, he heard a small sound like a soul being crushed. He turned and he saw in a meek, shy, and stranded state little Cindy First Year, a new PhD candidate. She stared at Dean Grinch with a tear in her eye and said, "Why are you taking our salaries? Why?" But Dean Grinch didn't rise through the ranks being scared. He had all his rebuffs and rebuttals prepared. "Why, my sweet little first year," he said with a smirk, "you merely don't realize how finances work. Budgets are thin in these times of great fear, and we simply can't raise stipends. Maybe next year? So sleep in the lab, go put your pajamas on. If you want to be paid well, then go work for Amazon. And let me correct one more point, if you please. They're not really salaries. You're not employees." Then he patted her head, which was not really fine, flouting both social distancing and Title IX, and sent her on back with a basket of goodies, mouse pads, a keychain, and large logo hoodies. Once all of his freebies had new student owners, he sat down to dinner with well-to-do donors and clinked champagne glasses with ombudsman chums, recounting his triumph to wealthy alums. They're pausing their work, looking up from their pages and finding out now that we've taken their wages. They'll all get their checks and they'll cry, "Woe is me, I should have stopped after my bachelor's degree." So he listened quite hard, but against all the odds, he heard startling sounds rising up from the quads. The students weren't sad. They were happy as clams, as though they had all just passed oral exams. He raced across campus, astonished, surprised, till he realized what happened. They'd all unionized. Yes, graduate students all fresh out of patience called the National Board of Labor Relations. From now on, they'd know where each exploitive fee went. They'd bargain their pay by collective agreement. Conditions would all have to be to their liking, and if not, any moment, they all could start striking. Then Dean Grinch understood the results of his deeds. Maybe stipends, he thought, should support basic needs. Maybe stipends, perhaps, should be set far and wide at amounts where recipients feel dignified. If we want a workforce that's smart and secure, we shouldn't be trying to keep them all poor. And of course, money's tight, and it's always bad timing, but we can do better than nickel and diming. And what happened then? Well, on campus they say that Dean Grinch's checkbook grew 3 sizes that day. And the graduate students, whose lives were horrendous, now all of their stipends were simply stipendous. Thank you very much. My name is Adam Rubin. Enjoy the rest of the show.
So, do we have any doctors here?
A philosophy or
We can think deep thoughts about unemployment, but no, I'm just kidding. We have doctors, we have chemists, we have engineers. Do we have any physicists? No, none of them here. Okay, I just wanted to tell you that if you're in the field of science, your services are no longer needed because we have podcasters now. As someone who drives through DC a lot, I now understand why people live in DC. It's so they don't have to drive to DC. It is the worst. Has anybody here ever seen that Japanese horror movie, The Ring? Yeah. Is there anybody here who hasn't seen it? A couple people. Okay. The Ring would never happen in DC, and here's why. For those of you who haven't seen it, it's this old movie where people get, an evil VHS tape in the mail, because it's an old-ass movie, right? And If you get an evil VHS tape in the mail, of course you're going to put it in. It's a horror movie. Everybody's stupid, right? So when you put the tape in, your TV goes black except for a white ring. And when you see that ring, you get a call on your telephone. It's like, 7 days. And then in 7 days, the creepy little girl comes to kill you. Would never happen in DC. Because you'd put the tape in, you'd see the ring, you'd get the call, 7 days. Then 7 days would go by, then you'd get another call, hello, this is the creepy little girl from the ring. I'm stuck going in a loop around DuPont Circle. I'm gonna have to kill you some other time. This is bullshit. That is my time. Thank you so much.
A podcast that reaches coast to coast is Dr. Game Show, hosted by Joe Firestone and Manolo Moreno.
Here we go. Wow. And we get to see people's faces. How good.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, everybody.
This is going to be great. Somebody's already mountain climbing.
Oh, good. Great. Undivided attention.
It's what we expect.
And what we demand. And yet. Well, Manolo, we're doing this very special episode, right? Do you want to say what it is?
This is a special episode, which is the Stand Up for Climate Change comedy, Dr. Game Show edition.
Are you okay? What? Do you want help?
Yeah.
Perfect. So we are going to be doing some special climate change themed games. Nothing better than that sentence. And we're going to be playing with you all. And all of you have very interesting stories. And we're excited to hear from you. And this is The Moth. If you're new to the show, this is a podcast where we play games submitted by listeners. And we play them with callers on Zoom. With that said, I'm Joe Firestone. This is Manolo Moreno.
That's me.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna.
What about?
Do you want to?
Yeah.
What?
Talk about Alex, the producer? No. Okay. Never mind.
Okay.
All right.
You know, we never have before until the end, and now I feel a little bit like maybe we should have. But
Okay. Let's not.
Manolo, would you like to do theme song?
We should have planned this out.
I don't know. But this is how we've done every single episode.
No, I got it. Ooh, what if I do a thing where I cue to the theme song, and then I could fix it in post?
It's just you're making so much work for yourself in post. You already have 3 things you need to do.
What are they again?
See, this is the thing. I don't think you even remember.
I know what one of them is.
Okay.
Cue the theme song.
Are you panicking? Are you in a place of crisis?
No.
You're okay. Can I just ask one thing, and that is, are you going to be doing any theme songs today, or are they all going to be done in post?
Going forward, I will do theme songs. I have a guitar.
Okay.
Yes.
And you know, just kind of based on the last 3,000 episodes that you do the theme songs, there's no plan besides that.
Yes, that's one of my 3 jobs.
And what are your other 2 jobs? Just so we know.
I figured that's something we could discover together.
No. We have them. What are the other 2 jobs?
To be the judge.
Okay.
For the contestants, if the game needs a judge.
Uh-huh.
And the 3rd one is to file our taxes. Do the paperwork.
No, I actually file our taxes. So that is not your 3rd job. That is my job.
What's my 3rd job?
I would say your first job definitely is theme songs. Your second job is definitely judging.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say your 3rd job is keeping it light, keeping it fun.
Oh, okay.
I guess we're going to do a game called Stratospheric Injection. submitted by Hannah Monday from Richmond, California.
Stratospheric injections. Don't know what that is, but it looks like it's gonna help with all of my illnesses.
Okay, so this is how this game works. Solar geoengineering is a climate change solution that proposes to shoot tiny particles into the stratosphere to reflect the sun and make the Earth cooler. Contestants must tell us what particles they wish to shoot into the atmosphere to make the Earth cooler in the non-temperature sense, and how they would brand their plan to convince other Earthlings. Example, rainbow sprinkles would be the particles, and you would call it colors of the wind. Manolo decides whether the majority of Earth would agree to such a plan. Okay, you got it?
I'll learn on the way.
Okay, great. Let's talk to Reina in Brazil. Reina, are you there?
Hello.
Hi, Raina.
Hey, Reina, what's your deal?
What are you doing in Brazil?
I'm doing research here.
For what?
What for?
I'm looking at deforestation and reforestation.
Which one do you like better?
Ooh, that's a hard one, but reforestation kind of gets me.
Okay. Do the results look, would you say grim?
Well, the results of reforestation look great. It's the deforestation one that, you know, is causing all the temper tantrums.
Reina, what do you want to inject into the atmosphere?
Oh my God, Listerine.
Why?
Because everyone's breath could just be a little bit better.
Ooh, I like
Okay,
that.
and what would you call it?
Oh, I'd call it minty fresh.
Can you use it in a sentence, please?
Okay, it's a cloudy day. What do we got reflecting over there? Did you just eat garlic? Minty fresh.
Yeah, now that was the sentence I was hoping you'd say, so just perfect.
All right. Well, I believe that the majority of the Earth would agree to such a plan. How's that? Joe, did I do good?
Yeah.
I do good?
I'm not the judge of the judge. I can't judge the judge. That's not my job.
Who judges the judge?
You judge the judge.
Oh, no.
And Reina, you did win. I know it doesn't seem like it, but you did. So you get a custom magnet. Nice work. Congratulations.
Did we already mention that winners win a custom magnet? You're not just randomly saying it?
Winners win a custom magnet.
Joe, you have 10 jobs.
My jobs are to do taxes for this organization.
That is true.
Okay, let's talk to Caroline in Hawaii. Caroline, what are you doing in Hawaii?
Hey guys. Usually I'm like a diver, so I go diving. I try to help out with people's research projects, to like help them as a research diver. But there's some pretty cool conservation work going on Maui.
Tell us.
Okay. Recently there was this really cool federal grant that's going to fund kind of wildlife protection on Molokai, which is like an island right off of Maui. It's still like a part of Maui. They're going to be able to protect the ground nesting native birds that live there, and some native plants, and the Hawaiian yellow-faced bee that's native to Hawaii. Yeah, so I'm just pretty excited that there's some federal funds coming to Hawaii.
Well, Caroline, it is time for you to play, and I guess what kind of particles would you want to shoot into the atmosphere?
I'm thinking something that's sustainable. Could be infinite resource, which could be dog hair.
What's that?
Dog hair. Just the experience with my dog, who sheds so much. I think it's something that most every dog owner can get behind. We can just shoot the dog hair just into the atmosphere. It insulates the dog. Why not insulate the earth as well?
That's a great tagline.
What about people with allergies and lungs?
It will help them too, because the harmful allergens will be outside of the earth.
Oh, gotcha.
Far away from, their noses, so it won't be inhaled anymore.
Far away from their noses.
Yes, it could be good.
It could be good.
Could be good. The dog hair can act as a binder to
binder
particles together. Yeah.
And Caroline, what's this called again?
We could call it puppy particles.
We could.
Can you use it in a sentence, please?
I used to have to wear, I don't know, let me see.
Curious about where this sentence is going now.
I used to have to wear different clothes this time of year, but now thanks to puppy particles, I don't, and I can just not worry about
That's the sentence.
Yeah.
temperatures due to
Good.
climate change.
You sold it. I think you sold it, and that the world's population agrees.
That's all.
Nice work, Caroline.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, you're getting a custom magnet.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, thank you. Okay, so now we got another game. We're gonna play another game. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
This game is called Dr. Reuse. It's submitted by Guy Degata from Nagoya, Japan, who is actually here right now, I believe, on the Zoom.
Theme song?
Yeah, and make it good.
Uh-oh. Well, I have to start over then. Dr. Reuse. Dr. Reuse.
This is what Guy writes. Joe names an item that might typically be thrown away. Contestants compete head to head to come up with the best way to reuse the item. For example, old tires can be filled with stuff and stacked to make a fort. Whichever idea Manolo likes best wins. So let's talk to Guy about this. Guy,
I
have you ever done this before?
made a fort with tires?
Yeah.
No.
He never had to defend a place.
Guy, are you an eco-friendly person?
Yeah. I I don't have a cool job like everyone else.
Okay. But you like the earth.
I like it. I live on it.
How is the environmentalism in Japan? Are they more recycly and all that than we are here in the States?
I think so. My toilet is kind of eco-friendly.
How do you mean?
Well, it's got the top of the tank has a lid, but the lid doubles as like a sink. So there's a little faucet that comes out and you wash your hands, and then the water that you use to wash your hands fills up the tank, so you don't waste the water.
Whoa.
Does that mean you have to clean the tank every so often?
Well, I guess it's soap, right? So maybe less often. I don't know. No, I don't clean the tank, not the inside of it at least.
Don't prisons have those?
I wouldn't know.
Could have sworn I saw one the last time I was in prison.
No, Guy, tell us. Don't prisoners have those? Tell us, Guy.
Yeah.
Tell us about prisons. Well, okay. So, Guy, do you want to play this game? Do you feel comfortable doing that?
Play it? Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Let's have at it.
I'm going to name an item that might be typically thrown away. Are you ready?
Sure.
I had a bunch of grapes in a Ziploc bag. I ate the grapes. Still got the Ziploc bag. Gonna throw it away.
I saw recently you can take the Ziploc bag, fill it with water, and twist it around, and it becomes almost like a magnifying glass. And then you can use it to focus the sun onto like pieces of wood to make fire like you would with a magnifying glass. And it works.
And it works.
And it works. Well, I don't know. It did on the video I saw once.
Wow.
Oh, so it wasn't just from your imagination.
No.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see what Lorna has to say about that. Lorna from Chicago. Lorna, are you also an eco champion?
I like to say I am. I work for an architecture firm.
Green architecture.
Yes. So reuse buildings, repair things instead of building new things. And if you have to build something new, just be conscious of what kind of energy you're using to do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, Lorna, that you actually have to tell me what to do with an old Ziploc bag.
Well, Joe, do you still have the stems from the leaves or the grapes?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm guessing you know someone who's got a birthday coming up. So I would take a Sharpie and write happy birthday on the bag, and I would fill it with air and tear up the stems. Yeah, blow it up and then throw the stems in there and some air, seal it up, and you've got yourself a birthday noisemaker.
Like a maraca.
Yeah, like a maraca.
Okay.
Is this another YouTube video you saw?
No, you'd be showing your friends this for the first time.
Oh, straight from the dome.
Well, it seems like a pretty good idea, but Guy, do you have any other ideas for this Ziploc bag with the stems?
With the stems. That's a pretty good one. I'm not sure I can beat that. That sounds like my kids would have fun with that one.
We can throw the stems out. We don't need the stems. I'm just saying the stems are there. I didn't eat the stems, so
That's weird.
I ate the grapes.
Oh, you can use the stems for the fire
Huh? What do you mean?
from the magnifying glass.
Oh, okay, great. We're still on the fire. Great. Okay, so the stems are going into the fire.
That's right.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, let's see, Lorna, anything you think we could do?
Well, are we assuming we didn't tear these stems up? The shaker never happened.
Shaker never happened.
Shaker never happened.
This is an alt pitch.
Let's just take fire out of the equation. Let's not burn things.
Oh, okay.
Let's just tear up the stems into manageable sizes. You throw them in a pile and you can play pickup sticks. And then you could store it in the bag.
You could put it on top of, like, in the closet full of board games that you
Yeah,
have.
just keep it on your shelf of board games. It's all good.
No, that seems like a really good idea.
Plastic bag full of grape stems.
Classic game.
Well, Manolo, do you have a favorite idea so far?
Oh boy, so many great ideas. Okay, I'm not a fan of games, but I like the idea of keeping a plastic bag of grape stems with your games.
Wow. So you're saying Guy just lost at his own game?
Uh-oh. Wait. No. I want to make fire and cook some grape stems.
So Lorna, who is just calling in the underdog, now is going to lose the game.
No, wait. Okay, so I would say that I would have this magnifying glass burning grape stems, but I would store it on my shelf with all the board games, so they both win. Huh? Does that work?
Okay, I guess we can say that's it. Wow, you're both getting custom magnets. Really nice job.
Phew.
High five, Guy.
Dang.
Did
Oh,
it.
thanks.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been a pretty, I would say, enlightening episode for sure.
I'd say so.
Do you think that we should vote on what our favorite game was?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so the choices are Dr. Reuse, we got Stratospheric Injection, and we got Don't Stop Be Greenin'. Keep in mind, Guy is here. Keep in mind, Guy made the game Dr. Reuse, and Guy is here. Let's just take some calls. Caroline, what are you going to vote for here?
You're saying that Guy is here.
Guy is here.
Guy is here. Okay. Yeah, I did like Dr. Reuse. You know, I'd like to, we could reuse the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Caroline. Really helpful. Guy is here. Okay, how about Lorna? What are you voting for?
You know, I'm sorry, Guy, but there's just so many options to explore, sending things into space. I think I've got to go with stratospheric injection.
Wow, thank you so much. Whew, okay, I don't know what's going to happen next. Raina?
Well,
what do you think?
I think that Don't Stop Begreening didn't really get a chance.
Really?
So I don't even know what that game is even like.
Wow.
And I'd vote to give that one another shot so we have an even playing field.
I think maybe I messed it up, the game flow.
Well, it's certainly possible.
Uh,
Well, thank you so much, Raina. Okay, so we have now 3 votes. Okay, this is juicy. Okay, so how about, let's go with Regina. What are you voting for?
Hi there. I'd like to vote for Dr. Reuse. I am obsessed with that magnifying glass idea. I'm gonna go into the lab this afternoon and try to find a use for that innovation that excites. Incredible.
Put some slides underneath.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to see some microbes.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you, Regina. Okay, let's check the Guy, since Guy is here.
I vote for the shooting stuff up one into space.
What?
The stratosphere.
Remember, Guy is here.
I will remind you, Guy is here.
Right, I am here. However, I don't know. My game, I think it resulted in a lot of needless fire, which is probably not good for the climate.
Uh-huh.
So you don't want to shoot that up there. There's
Wow.
enough of that up there. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much, Guy. Guy is here.
I'm here.
Okay, let's talk to Scott. How about Scott in St. Louis? What are you voting for, Scott?
I always like getting recipes, so I'll go with the first game.
Really unhelpful. Thank you so much, Scott. It's now tied. Okay, we've got a tie between stratospheric injection and don't stop be greening. Manolo, would you like to vote?
Guy is here.
Uh-huh.
I will vote for Dr. Reuse.
No, that's actually the least helpful thing you could do, because then it's a three-way tie.
Oh, and that's not my job, right? Okay, I will vote for a stratospheric injection.
Wow, stratospheric injection.
We did it.
Wow, congratulations to Hannah Monday. We've done it. We've really done it. Thank you all for playing with us. Thank you, Caroline, Guy, Regina, Scott, Raina, Lorna.
Yeah, and it was nice learning about your lives and the work you do, and
Yes.
that it's nice to see that it's happening all over the world.
Guy is here.
And Guy is here.
Thank you all so much. We will do now a Manolo Minute.
Oh no.
So Manolo, if you could, just a segment of what you've been thinking about for the last hour or so.
You pointed out that Guy was here, and so I thought that Dr. Reuse was going to win, but that didn't work out. And so I can't tell if I was the one that sabotaged the thing, or if you did, or
No.
it was me. Well, at least I did the theme songs. So could I get a raise?
Yeah, you can get a raise. Uh-huh.
Now we bring it right back here home to Boulder, Colorado, where we with students at the University of Colorado have put together a show. Do you want to talk more about it, Beth?
Yes. So for our creative climate communication show, largely environmental studies majors have supported the professional comedians in LA and in New York City in creating and researching their pieces. And then they also created their own stand-up and sketch comedy to perform for a community of their friends.
All right, what's up, you guys? How you guys doing today? Sweet, sweet. So I'm not gonna dilly-dally. We all know why we're here, right? We're here to talk about how we can unscrew the earth. You heard about renewable energy, eating less meat, driving electric cars. Fuck that. Today, I'm gonna tell you guys how you can fight climate change by getting stoned. Yeah! Believe it or not, I'm actively fighting climate change right now. And I know some of you audience members are too. I'm looking at you, dads. Share it. So, you might be wondering, Hike, how does getting baked help with climate change? And it has to do with this neat thing called afforestation. And that's when you take open plots of land and you seed fast-growing plants to suck up carbon, like cannabis. Now, I want you to picture this. You're walking back home from class after you just got shit on by your midterm. I'm talking about you brought the average down yourself. So, you're looking for a way to de-stress, you're looking for a way to forget about the situation, and then bam, weed plant on the sidewalk. You can confidently know that you're gonna be getting more baked than me in the next 5 minutes, but you also can take solace in the fact that that little plant did a damn good job sucking up carbon before you smoked it. Now, imagine if weed was grown everywhere. Our planet would be so much greener, and people would be so much fucking cooler, right? Imagine your least favorite professor, and in the middle of lecture, just yeah, I don't want to grade that any more A's for everyone. Now, you can thank the war on drugs for your professor not being that chill all the time, but I promise you, drugs are kicking this ass's war. Otherwise, I wouldn't be telling you that getting stoned could save the planet. Go home and fight some climate change, everyone. Thank you.
I have really mastered this skill by enraging my father throughout my life. For example, when I was deciding what to study in college, I had two things in in mind. Number one, what do I love and care about? And number two, what would disappoint him the most? So with that in mind, I first chose theater. Yeah, enough said there. So then 2 years later, I decided I would be better in environmental studies. Thank you, yeah. Now, you might wonder why this would disappoint my father so much. Well, my father has made all of his money from the gas and oil industry. I know. But I promise you he's not some evil man. He's actually quite wise. Just today we were having a phone call talking about the need for carbon sequestration solutions in order to actually solve climate change. And the big thing about this is that it takes a lot of money. It has been estimated that to minimize the impacts of global climate change, it will take $25 trillion. But I think it's well worth it because we will make $100 trillion and save the earth while doing it. And if you did not know, $100 trillion is also enough money to make Elon Musk instantly cream his pants. But how do we get this money? Well, since I already disappoint my father, I have decided that I am going to become an earth-loving, ass-shaking sugar baby. Old white men are fucking the entire planet and everything on it, and I am tired of not making a profit off of it. Did you know that the average sugar baby makes up to $5,000 a month, which is enough to buy 5,000 trees and sequester 120 tons of CO2? It's a win-win, y'all! Daddy Elon gets a cute date, I get a free dinner, and Mama Earth gets some sugar, you know what I'm saying? But really, y'all, all jokes aside,
If, your favorite vegan friend came up to you one day and was like, you know what, Becky, you know what I could really go for? It's just a fat, hot, juicy cheeseburger. And you're like, whoa, dude, is everything okay, like at home? It's concerning. I mean, it's contradictory, to say the least. So anyway, I decided to do what these crafty vegans did with the impossible meat, and I found an environmentally friendly loophole. Thrift shopping! Yes. Now let me tell you, nothing says I love planet Earth more than wearing someone else's clothes. Yes, and I love thrift shopping so much so I'm actually wearing an 100% head-to-toe thrifted outfit this evening. Thank you. Yes, and not only is thrift shopping good for your wallet, but also the environment. Yay, why we're all here. And in fact, it takes over 700 gallons of water to produce a single cotton t-shirt. 700 gallons. But Rebecca, you may be asking yourselves, how much water is that? Well, let me tell you, 700 gallons of water is just a few gallons short of a metric fuck ton of water. Yes, it is a lot of water, folks. And for a better, kinder visual, it's actually about 30 bathtubs full of water. So, I'm thinking we really give the people what they want here and start this initiative where, either you can take a bath every day for a month, or we'll print you out on a super cute white Hanes cotton t-shirt. I didn't take any baths this month.
Now, neither erectile dysfunction or climate change is a laughing matter, but I'm still gonna make jokes about them. Guys will have erectile dysfunction and still be assholes about vegan and vegetarian diets. Like, bro, you're worried about the wrong kind of meat. You know how if you're a vegetarian and you still eat fish, you're a pescatarian? Well, I feel like there needs to be a word for people who are a vegetarian and still give head. I was thinking a word like veg head. I don't think there needs to be a word for people who are a vegetarian and still eat pussy, because that's basically pescatarian. Sorry, Mom and Dad. I bet you never imagined your youngest child
using her environmental studies degree to get up on a stage in front of an inspired audience and memorize dick jokes. I am doing this for climate change, and I need all of you to do your part, which you can do by getting your meat-eating, planet-killing, limp dicks home and eating a fucking salad.
The winner of our 7th annual International Climate Comedy Video Competition is Raina Benziv with her video entitled, Guess What, Melinda?
Guess what, Melinda?
What?
Guess what percentage of the food supply the U.S. wastes each year?
What percent?
Guess.
I don't know.
No, guess.
Just tell me.
Melinda.
No.
Guess.
No.
Melinda.
What?
How much food do you think the United States wastes every year?
Like 15?
It's like 30 to 40% of our food, Melinda.
40%?
It's like if I took this bag of chips and just took out 30 to 40% of them and just flushed them down the toilet.
Kind of, yeah.
It's like if I just walked into a supermarket and just peed on everything in aisles 7 through 10.
Gross.
It's like if I just took 30 to 40% of my birthday cake and smeared it all over the faces and chests of my party guests without eating it.
You did do that. This year, you did that.
Guess what, Melinda?
What?
Guess how many pounds of food are wasted per person per year in the United States?
I bet it's a lot.
Guess.
50
It's 219 pounds, Melinda.
219 pounds?
Guess what, Melinda?
What?
It doesn't have to be like this. We can stop buying more food than we need.
We can?
And we can volunteer for our local food rescue.
I'm in.
And guess what, Melinda?
What?
We can learn more about this stuff.
I love you, Melinda.
I love you, Melinda.
This year's Inside the Greenhouse Awards are prestigious and ongoing, and this year's 2022 Excellence in Creative Climate Communications Award goes to Adam McKay. Adam McKay, among other things, was director of a film that came out this past year called Don't Look Up. He continues to lead in creative climate communications through the Don't Look Up platform that you can find on the web.
And our Citizen Award this year goes to Juanita Echeverry. She's somebody who works locally here in Boulder, Colorado. She's with the Boulder City Open Space Mountain Parks. And what she does is really engage young people in coming into these open spaces and out into the natural world to engage them in outreach and engagement programming. So that's it for the show for 2022. Join us next year for more creative climate communication and climate comedy.
We can make it.